Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg, everybody. Joining me this morning for the Fitchburg Fire Department is Adam Dorn. Dorn, how you doing this morning?
Great. How are you, Jeremy?
I always want to, I got to think of something I want to say,
Right. Should I bring you a couple lines next time?
That'd be most helpful.
Okay.
The name badge doesn't do it. Hey, Dorn. That's it is Adam Dorn. Yes. Adam, appreciate it. Taking the jokes and bringing the safety tips.
Absolutely.
That's your role here. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Today we're talking about the silent killer, and that is carbon monoxide.
Yes.
And, during the past deer hunting season, we know there was an unfortunate accident involving CO exposure. So let's kind of refresh ourselves on carbon monoxide.
Yeah. So the incident you were talking about happened up in Dodge County, I believe around the Reeseville area. And it was a father-son from Milwaukee that came out to go hunting. They had been up there for the weekend. They were expected to come home. Neither one came home. No one could get in contact with them. So they did a welfare check. The son had passed away, and the father was not doing so good, and they transported him to Milwaukee to treat him for his illness. But it brings to light, what do we know about carbon monoxide? What do we need to be aware of? And are there some laws that are in place to help protect us that we may or may not know about? So those are some of the things that we need to look at today that I think are pretty important, because it is getting colder out. Soon, maybe we'll have snow. Who knows? And it's an important thing, because if the vents around your house are not kept clear, carbon monoxide can back up into your house because of plugged vents when it comes to the furnaces and other things, right?
So I've got so many questions.
Go ahead.
But the first one that comes to mind is placement of carbon monoxide detectors. Mm-hmm. Where should we be placing these in the house?
Well, carbon monoxide is about the same weight as air, so it's going to mix pretty evenly. So it all depends on the type of carbon monoxide detector that you have. If it's a standalone unit, sometimes they just plug into the wall. You plug them into an outlet. Sometimes they're battery operated. If they're battery operated, I personally like to see them about between 5 and 6 feet off the ground, because it's in the middle. It's going to mix in pretty well, and you can read it at eye level what's going on. If you have a carbon monoxide and smoke detector combination, they're going to be put on the ceiling because that's where the smoke is. So that is a huge thing as far as where on the wall they're placed. The other aspect to look into is there is a state law that says you need to have one on every level of your home where there's a gas-fired appliance. And that's 1 and 2 family dwellings. So if you have sleeping level on the 2nd floor, and you have a gas range on the 1st floor, and you have a gas furnace, you need 1 on each floor. If you have sleeping on the 2nd level, but your master bedroom is on the 1st floor, but no gas appliance, and then the basement is the furnace again, you still need 1 on every level, but the carbon monoxide detectors then need to go by the sleeping areas.
Well, it just makes sense. I mean,
right.
I think regardless, wherever you're sleeping at, I think you'd want one nearby. I know for us, we have 1 on every level because we have that exact scenario of it's a tri-level, and there is gas component on every floor, except the bedroom area. But at the same time, that's the critical one is out. So we have one of the ones on the wall sitting at the lowest point. So, we would hear it, tested, whatever.
Yep.
So,
and carbon monoxide detectors, just like smoke detectors, should be tested monthly. And they're only good for about 7 years. So you have to replace them a little bit more often, but, it's worth it.
Yeah, when we talk about the silent killer, I mean, it literally can take you out. I mean, I've definitely heard of different cases of being awake, but you can't move. I mean, there's different scenarios, and it is the silent killer.
Right.
I think the big one too coming up here is with the wintertime and starting your car in the garage in proximity to the house.
Exactly.
So let's hit on that one.
Yeah. So that one's really important because a lot of people kind of forget about it. They think, oh, my car's cold. I'm going to go start my car up so I have a nice warm car. I'd love that too. But if you're going to do that, opening the garage door does not always work. That's not always adequate. you need to move your car out of the garage because carbon monoxide can still seep into the house through the door, especially if you have a windy day. The wind can be coming into the garage and push that carbon monoxide through the door. The doors may not always seal the best, and you can get that into the house. And we've had incidences where that has taken place, where we've been to calls, carbon monoxide detector goes off because they were running a car in the garage.
Yeah, I was going to say, even if you park it outside the garage and it's a windy day, ultimately it could blow right back into the house and you would never know it. So you got to be cautious with doing that. And, ultimately we all want the warm car, like you said, but it's still could be hazardous, definitely. So, and maybe placing a detector close, you don't want to place one in the garage because then ultimately it'll probably go off a lot. But if you place one in the near area, so at least you get an early detection, that's always a plus. So,
some of the other things to kind of think about, if because carbon monoxide is a silent killer, a lot of times there's signs and symptoms to let you know what's kind of going on, that something might be wrong. One of the big ones is headaches. A lot of times, the CO poisoning or carbon monoxide poisoning, those signs and symptoms are confused with flu symptoms or food poisoning and other illnesses. So some symptoms, not all of them, but some of the symptoms of carbon monoxide poisoning include shortness of breath, nausea, dizziness, headaches. High levels of carbon monoxide can actually be fatal, such as the case up in Dodge County, and can cause death within minutes. So, when you get to the colder months and you start your furnace up and it's really been kicking along and the snow is built up outside, make sure those vents are open and make sure that you're running the car outside of the garage. Close your garage door when you're doing it. Take all the precautions that you can so that nothing happens.
Absolutely. And if you want to find out more tips, certainly you've got the nfpa.org. They've got a ton of tips out there.
They do.
Check the fire department's website and check the detectors. I think that's the key here. Check the detectors, and it's the time of year now. And furnace checks, I think, are huge. I get one done every year. I just feel better about it. It's for me, ours is in the basement. It's so far away. It's a comfort level thing. So
and we talk a lot about carbon monoxide. A lot of times, there's propane or natural gas or whatever else that's feeding our furnaces. They make carbon monoxide and explosive gas detectors now. So if you're going to replace your carbon monoxide detector, I would highly recommend that you go find a carbon monoxide / explosive gas detector. They're not that expensive. They carry them at big box stores or other places. And they're not that expensive. They're under $40 a piece. But it also will detect your propane and natural gas and any other fuels that would fall into that category. Way better, I think personally, than just a carbon monoxide detector. You're providing more protection and more early alerting for more issues.
Safety first.
Absolutely.
That's the motto of this show. All right, Adam, always appreciate it. Again, check out the website for more information. We got to take a very quick break. We'll be right back. It is Talking Fitchburg.